Developing a good design sense is like developing any skill, any sense. Today in this video, I am going to talk to you about certain things, certain practices, certain experiences that you have to acquire to develop that killer design sense. So guys, please watch this video till the very end. I'm going to speak on a lot of valuable things. I'm going to share a lot of valuable experiences that I've had along my design career. Please stay tuned. There's a lot coming your way. Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Daryl and you're watching GoBeyondDesign, the only place where you get to learn all the agency level concepts, designs and workflows that no one is telling you about. Some people feel that there are designers who are born with good creative sense. They are just made to become designers. And the other part thinks that this thing can be acquired. Well, if you ask for my opinion, I will tell you that it is both. There are certain individuals who are born with certain abilities to design. They have a good creative sense. They know what good colors look like, which patterns would go with what, and the overall understanding about a good design and how and what a good design looks like. They have an innate ability to gauge that. But it doesn't mean that some people who do not have this ability, this natural ability, they will not be able to become good designers. They also acquire this ability. They also learn, understand, get inspired from references, and they develop a good design sense. So I am somebody who is somewhere in the middle. I had some understanding about what a good design sense is, but along my creative design experience, I have acquired a lot of things that I'm now proud of. So today, my friends, I am going to share with you my journey of developing my own creative design sense. So I started my career like any other young professional would. I learned the software. Then I went straight into doing my first job. It was an internship at an event house. There I was making huge numbers of designs day in and day out. But the biggest problem I had was that I was totally dependent on my superiors, on my those senior graphic designers who were working there, to tell me if my graphic design or if my certain artwork was good enough to be shown to the client or not. I remember at times when I used to wait till 11 o'clock at night, when I was waiting there for my seniors to complete their work, because they were of course inundated with a lot of work, just so that they can help me out close my design. That is how bad my situation was. I was totally dependent on their viewpoints. I was totally dependent on their direction, their sense of design, so that I could complete my work. Yes, this is true. I was in a place like this before, at the beginning of my design career. But in all of this, I did one thing right, and that is I was always seeking directions from my superiors. I was always listening to them. I was always wanting to understand how they can find, how they can see, how they can know what a good design is, and I can't. What do I have to learn? But at the same time, I was again listening to them. So now it was very evident to me that I needed to learn what a good design looks like. So the first thing what I did is that I went ahead online. I looked for resources. I looked for webinars, I looked for workshops, I looked for design courses which will help me understand and develop a good aesthetics for design. And fortunately enough, I found a resource that really helped me. It was a 6-hour long workshop in which the teacher helped me understand how to manage my colors, how to manage typography, how to manage the elements, how to choose good images, good photographs to go with my design so that it looks aesthetically pleasing. Everything seems in order and the entire artwork that I make will now look a whole lot better than a novice's. And to my surprise, people started pleasantly commenting on my design, that they started looking good when I started implementing all these learnings to my design. And this is something that I want to tell you, is that you have to learn the fundamentals of good design before you can even pick up that software. Now equipped with all this good design knowledge, I was making it. I was making one good design after another. Everybody was complimenting me. I thought this honeymoon period would never end. Until a few weeks down the line, I myself and everybody around me started realizing that my designs were getting very monotonous. They looked like they were copied over from the previous project and there were just minor alterations made to it. And I also realized that the kind of designs that I was making were very similar to what I had seen in the workshop. I needed to evolve now. I needed to take my design to the next level. And this is something that you should also look at, that you also need to evolve. So now that it was very evident and very clear to me that I needed to learn more, I needed to see more designs, I needed to really research before I started the project. Now whatever I did, whatever thing I watched, I used to always go online before making any specific artwork, any collateral. I used to at least find 10 good designs, 10 good references which would really suit this specific collateral. After doing that research work, I would try to implement the good design elements, the good design things that I saw on those artworks. And then again, I started improving. My design started becoming different from one another. There was fresh variety. It was pleasing to the eye, and that monotony started breaking. That was a good step. So, studying good design, looking for references just before I start a specific collateral or project was the key learning for me in this thing. Now, researching before making an artwork had become a normal practice for me. But then I went to another company. It was an e-commerce company. There I had the support of many fellow designers, upon which I had made a good friend. He used to always sit with me and he used to, be with me before starting a design. We used to talk it out how something can look good for this specific artwork. And I think that was the foundation stone for my design sense, that I used to actually talk it out with somebody, and take opinions for others, what they think will look good on the designs. And this is something, the foundation of my design sense, that I brainstormed it out with people, with creative professionals, my fellow creative professionals. And this is something I feel helped me pull my design sense up to the next level. I am thankful to all those people who helped me, who guided me, who brainstormed with me to help me develop my design sense. And that is something I would also recommend for you to do. Well, I was getting good at brainstorming with creative professionals. But there was something that I realized would help me even more, that would complement my brainstorming with the creative professionals, and that was building a library of references. So there was this company, this e-commerce company, which was into home decors. And I realized that I was making certain kinds of artwork, certain kinds of collaterals day in and day out. I was making emailers, I was making social boards day in and day out. And I realized that if I would have a library of references, a library of inspirations which I could use, which I could tap into at a pinch, or I could tap into whenever I'm out of ideas, how good would that be? And this is exactly what I did. I built a huge, a ginormous reference library for certain kinds of artworks that would always help me out in a pinch of time. And this is exactly something I would also recommend to you, that to build a library of inspirations and references for those artworks that you happen to make day in and day out. It really helped me, it would really help you too. So yes, I surrounded myself with good designs, good design references, inspirations. I started brainstorming with people. I started taking inspiration from them, their libraries, their references. All of this was great, working great for me. But I always had this at the back of my mind, that whenever I would try to make a design like an inspiration or something which I really like, I could never get it 100%. I would always lack. The aesthetics would always be a little less than what I was wanting my design to look like. And that was definitely a thorn in my leg. And then, I wanted to really get there and make my design as good as that reference. And this is exactly when I started to pull apart a design, pull apart typographies, colors, and every single thing that went into making this design. I wanted to take every single element, every single part of that design and study it deeply. And it is at that point of time that I started studying the individual things that make up a good design. I started to learn color theory. I started to learn typography. I started to learn which patterns go with which. I started to learn what are the kinds of designs, what are the kinds of different designs that happen. So by doing all of this, I started to understand why a certain pattern would look good with a certain image, why a certain type of font would look great with a certain kind of color. It started making sense to me that why has that person who's made such a good design has chosen this path, this font, this color to make this design. And when that thing started to clear up in my mind, my design certainly started to improve. So learning the individual design elements, the individual things that make a good design, took my design sense to the next level. I would definitely recommend you to start learning all of those also when you have all the basics right. And this is something I also figured out at that point of time, that I should be looking up to those giants in design who have made it big, huge. I knew if I had to be inspired even more, I have to study their work. I started studying their work. I started studying their approach. I learned from their critiques that they would do on their webinars, which they would do in their workshop. They would critique on certain artworks. They would tell me, they would tell the audience, that is, about their approach in making something. They would tell the audience, they would show the audience about why they had chosen a specific path for using in this design. And with all that knowledge, it really started to open up my mind in what exactly a design is. Why do we do certain things? Why do we choose certain things? Why do we try to design in a certain way? What happens if we design in another way? What are the kind of things that we have to do even before we start a design? What is the correct approach to take? And this is something I would like to be very, very clear about, that if you want to make it big in the design industry, you have to step in the footsteps of those giants who have made it big. you have to follow their work, you have to learn their approach, like I did. Whenever I would look at famous personalities talking about design, they would always refer to these huge giants of design, these movements of designs which happened. And I was really curious in understanding how did exactly this design which we are doing today in this day and age come to be. I was always curious, so this is something which I always wanted to learn, and this is what I did. I studied the history of design, the history of design movements. That really helped me understand why do we use certain things, why do we use certain design types, what design types relate to which era in the history. And this is something which is a very nice thing to know. It is a very nice understanding to acquire for you also if you are looking for developing a career, a long-term career in design. Now all of these learnings might seem a lot, but please do bear in mind, I did not learn these learnings in a matter of weeks. It took me long. Well, it doesn't have to take you that long. I learned by trial and error. But with this video, with my experience, you definitely have some guidance on how to go about developing a good design sense. And this is exactly something I hoped to achieve through this video. Well, if you like this video, please like and subscribe this channel. I am always taking out videos like this which would help young professionals, young budding professionals like you in your design career. Please share with your friends and please do hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I come up with a new video. This is me, Daryl, signing off. You are watching Go Beyond Design. Take care.